Hey, what's going on everyone out there in YouTube land? So today we're going to have a look at another pod system. This one's a little bit different and actually has a feature that I'd never seen before on a pod system. This one coming from a company, I believe they are called Shanlaan? Does that sound right? Shanlaan? Well, I do know the name of the device is called the LAAN. L-A-A-N. That is pronounced correctly. Thank you very much. I do have some Chewy Panda loaded up, 3 milligram, and I must say that vaping a 3 milligram in a pod system, you're not going to notice pretty much anything. I mean, it's going to be a very, very, very unsatisfying vape. I did order some 18 milligram juice for future pod reviews, but yeah, just for reference, use something stronger, much, much stronger in these things. It has two airflow settings. We have a mouth to lung setting and we have a direct lung setting. Even though it does direct lung, it's really restricted. But I'm going to do a direct lung. We're going to have a vape and then we'll get into it. Now the LAAN device was sent over directly by AVE40. Is it AVE40 or is it Avenue 40? I was never sure of that, but AVE40 for the purpose of this review. If you guys are looking to pick one up or check one out after the video, I will have a link posted in the description to their website and also to the manufacturer's website. Going price for one of these are going to be on the pricey side when it comes to a pod system, possibly one of the most pricier ones I've seen. Going price $109. Let's have an up-close look at the LAAN pod system. This one coming from a company, I believe it's pronounced Shanlaan. Presentation box comes in this nice white hard shell plastic box. There will be a label on the front and the back when you get it, but I had to remove the label in order to access the inside of the box. Take off the lid. We're going to have your LAAN device. We're going to have two pods. One you can see is already filled up because I've been using it. This little box right here is going to be your micro USB charging cable there on the inside. And then on the back side of the lid actually is going to be your user manual. And I love the way they did this. Very nice, clean presentation. Inside the user manual goes over some of the features, shows you how to use the device, and how to fill the pods and set everything up. Dimensions on the LAAN, I measured 128 millimeters tall from the bottom to the top of the mouthpiece. We're looking at around 24 millimeters in diameter, and I did weigh it in at around 84 grams. It is a fairly light device. It is constructed of an aluminum alloy, and we do have a leather wrap on the front and the back, and they do state the leather actually is real leather, which is kind of nice. This one does offer a 1-year warranty, and it is available in a brown leather finish, where they also have a black and a white. At the top is going to be your mouthpiece, and we do have a fairly large mouthpiece on the LAAN. I must say it is really comfortable because of the aluminum. It has a nice satin finish to it. It doesn't feel harsh on the lips. Overall, really comfortable mouthpiece. Now, we do have some airflow options on this device. We have two airflow options. Now, this is more of a mouth-to-lung style vape, but you can get a little bit of a direct lung vape. It might be a little restricted, a little tight, but some people may enjoy it. So you have the option of vaping it just normally, and you'll notice the air hole right here on the front, or when you hold the device, you can actually put your finger over that air hole as you're vaping it, and what that's going to do is restrict the vape and make it a much tighter vape, which kind of feels more like a cigarette for a more mouth-to-lung style vape. On the front, we're going to have an indicator light, and this light will change color depending on the status of your battery. So while you're vaping, while you're drawing on the device, the light will light up, and when you're charging it, the light will also light up. When the light's green, that means you have over 40% battery life. When the light is red, you have over 20% battery life, and when the light is yellow, it's under 20%, and that means it's time to charge. Now, this device does not have any buttons. It doesn't have an on-off button. It doesn't have a fire button. We have the automatic draw feature, which means as you're pulling or as you're inhaling on the device itself, it's going to automatically fire, and I had no issues with it automatically firing in my pocket or just laying on the table. So overall, the automatic draw feature on here is working very nicely. Now at the bottom is going to be your micro USB charge port, and they have it closed off so that way you don't get dirt inside the USB port, and also just makes the device look a little bit classier. And to access the port, you'll see this little kind of nub right there. Just push down, and then this little lid pops open like so. And now you can plug in your micro USB for charging, and then when you're finished, just close it. Now the LAAN has a 1300 milliamp hour internal battery. The battery, of course, is not removable. It is a fairly large battery, so it will get you through possibly an entire day. Now this device is capable of doing up to 40 watts. Actually, it does between 5 watts and 40 watts. And it actually has a temperature setting on it, and it goes between 90 and 310 degrees Celsius. And I'll show you guys more about how to adjust the wattage and the temperature in a moment. So let's talk a moment about these little pods. Now, they're going to include 2 empty pods inside the kit, which will allow you to use your own e-liquid. These pods hold 2 mLs of liquid. They're rated for about 150 puffs, and they do state on their website that you can fill these between 5 and 10 times. After around the 10th time, they are pretty much garbage. Now, they offer 2 options. You can get the empty pod and use your own liquid, or they have pre-filled pods that come already pre-filled with liquid. Now, the issue I have with these pods is I cannot find them anywhere on the internet, so I'm not sure how much these pods cost. And also another thing is they offer a 0.2 ohm and also a 0.5 ohm pod, but once again, I can't find the pods anywhere. And also I noticed there is no label on the pod itself telling you which resistance the pod is. So I don't know if this is a 0.2 or 0.5. Now to fill it up, you'll see a little tab right here, kind of like a rubber or silicone tab. Try to get your nail under there, and you're just going to pull up this ring. And you can just lift it up just a little bit. Go ahead and fill it up, or if you want, you can completely remove it. Actually, no, wait, you can't completely remove it. So just pull it off like that, and then just go ahead and fill it up with your liquid. When you're done filling it, just close it off. Make sure that this is sealed, because if it's not, it will leak. Now, if you're filling the pod for the first time, I recommend filling it and letting it sit for about 5 or 10 minutes, because if you're using a new coil, you want to make sure that the liquid works its way inside of the cotton, so that way you don't get a burnt hit. Also on the bottom right here, when you're using a brand new one, you're going to fill it up and then remove this little tab at the bottom. Make sure you don't install the pod with the tab in place. This tab is just pretty much protecting the contacts at the bottom. And the way this installs is actually super easy. All you're going to do, remove this, and you'll see the contacts down on the inside, and there's no wrong or right way to put this in. All you do is just drop it in there. That's it. And it's kind of spring loaded, so when you take the mouthpiece and you push it down, you're going to feel the spring on there, and you'll notice this little latch system right there. That's going to lock the mouthpiece into place. So go ahead and push it down, turn the cap, you'll feel it click. You'll feel it lock in place, and now that mouthpiece is not going to pop off. Now, the only downside to this cap right here being kind of rounded off is that you can't set it straight up on your desk. It's just going to keep falling over. They should have made this a flat cap, but you can lay it flat on your tabletop. It's not going to leak. There is a flat side on the one side right here, and you would think it would lay flat right there, but it doesn't. So you got to be careful that it just doesn't roll off your desk, because it does roll across the desk pretty easily. Now this device does go from 5 watts to 40 watts, like I said earlier, and it does have a temperature setting. It doesn't necessarily do temperature control, but there is a temperature setting to adjust the heat of the vape. And you guys are probably wondering, well, how do you do that if there's no buttons in place? That's because this device actually has Bluetooth. And to access these features, along with the child lock that we have on here, you need to download the app onto your iPhone or your Android device. So jump on the App Store on your phone, search for the company name, then you'll see the LAAN app right there. Go ahead and download the app. Make sure Bluetooth is turned on your phone, and make sure the device is near your phone. It'll search for the device, and once it locates it, you'll see a white button pop up at the bottom. There it is. Go ahead and click that button. It's going to load up the app. At the top is going to be your battery percentage. You can see I got a full battery. Then we're going to have your heat rate and your temperature. Now, I'm not too sure which one's the wattage and which one's the temperature. I'm going to assume the heat rate is going to be your wattage. The only thing is they don't really give you a number. They don't tell you what wattage you have it set for. So just take the little slider and you could slide it to your desired power setting. And then you could do the same for the temperature at the bottom right there. And just experiment. You know, just move it around a little bit. Let it sync. It automatically will sync with the device. And then give it a vape. If you want to adjust it further, go ahead and adjust it further. And then at the bottom right here, we have another icon. If you click on the icon, we have a child lock and we have stealth mode. Child lock, when it's enabled, means the device will actually lock and prevent you to vape on it when your phone is not near the device. So for instance, if you have it on the table and you go into the next room, that device will automatically lock so no one can vape off of it. Then stealth mode, only thing that does pretty much, it disables the little LED on the front if you don't want that light to be on. But then again, you won't know what your battery life is. And then we have the error report, and that's pretty much it. There's no puff counter or anything else on the software right here. It's pretty kind of basic. And then you can also change the name of the device if you really wanted to do that. But other than that, that's pretty much going to be it for the software. And if we do a real quick size comparison, like I always say, guys, it really depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for really good battery life, you're going to want something a little bit larger like this. But if you want something small and stealthy, you know, you got the smaller devices. But keep in mind, something like this, you're going to have to charge a lot more than something like this. But as far as height, it's a pretty tall. It's pretty girthy and 24 millimeters in diameter. But it is a really comfortable device. Alright, so a few things I want to cover before we get into the pros and cons. They advertise these coils, or the pod that's inside of there, as being a sub-ohm tank. Now, some of you may disagree. To me, it's more like a pod system, like an open pod system. I really don't consider it a sub-ohm tank, because when I think sub-ohm tank, I think, you know, really high wattages, really low resistances, and a lot of clouds. Even though the resistance on these coils is 0.5 and what did I say before? 0.2, so they are considered sub-ohm resistances, but still, I just consider it a pod. You know, it's a pod system to me. The flavor on this thing, I can tell you, is amazing. The flavor off here is probably better than any of the pods I've reviewed to date. So, yeah, I will tell you the flavor on here is amazing. All right, so let's jump into some of the pros and cons, and then, yeah, we'll wrap it up. All right, so starting off with the pros. Pro number one, beautifully made device. The aluminum alloy, very nice little touch. The leather, I'm going to smell it. I'm not sure if it's real leather, but I can tell you it feels like real leather. And it just feels good in the hands. It doesn't feel cheap. I think they did a really good job. The looks on here, the black and the white one looks really sexy looking. But overall, the construction, the durability on this thing, I mean, I can probably just drop it on the ground, and I can go ahead, once I find it, there it is, I can go ahead and pick it up. And the only thing that popped off, you know, of course, is going to be the tank and the cap. But I can easily pop that back on. And let's see if it vapes. Yes, so I will give it a thumbs up for the overall looks, construction, and durability. The next pro is going to be the mouthpiece. Very comfortable mouthpiece on here. A lot of these pod system devices, some of them have really like weird shape and mouthpieces that don't feel natural in your mouth. Now this one is quite large, so it's not going to give you that kind of cigarette feeling that you're used to, but at least it is comfortable, and the aluminum alloy just feels soft on your lips, so I will give it a thumbs up for the mouthpiece. The next pro, the fact that we have 2 airflow settings. So we don't have an airflow control, which would have been really nice if we had the option just to turn the cap, but vaping it without covering up the hole gives you a really restricted direct lung vape. So if you want a little bit more vapor, a little bit more satisfaction, just, you know, vape it normally. But if you want a really restricted tight vape, if you want it to be like a cigarette, go ahead and cover up that air hole. Even when you cover up the air hole, it's not comfortable. I mean, it's not like it's uncomfortable to hold or anything, but you're going to have to hold it like that. So nonetheless, we do have 2 airflow options, so thumbs up for that. The next pro is going to be the Bluetooth option that we have in here. The Bluetooth app, I think, is, it's kind of cool. It gives us the ability to adjust the wattage and the temperature without having any buttons or any screens on the actual device. And, of course, we have the child lock feature and the stealth mode. So I think the Bluetooth app is kind of cool. They could have added a few more options to it, but nonetheless, it does have a Bluetooth chip, so I will give it a thumbs up for that. The next pro, the pods. You have two options. Well, technically you have four options. You can either purchase empty pods, fill them yourself. You could purchase the pre-filled ones with your favorite liquid. And then we also have the I think it was 0.2 and 0.5 I said earlier. So we have four options. The only downside, I cannot find these pods anywhere. So I'm assuming this thing is brand new to the market and they don't have the pods out yet. That's my guess. But yeah, I'm sure they're going to be out pretty soon. But at the moment, just can't find them. But they are nice pods. So thumbs up for that. And the last pro, 1300 milliamp hour battery, which means you're going to get really good battery life. Let's talk about some of the cons. Now, the first con is going to be a temporary con, but you cannot find pods anywhere for this at the moment. So if you purchase one today, you can enjoy it and just hope that the pods come out very, very soon. I don't know why companies do this. Almost every company does this. They'll release an atomizer or like a device that comes with a tank, and they'll release the coils like a month later. Like, no, you have to release the coils the same time as the device. So I will give it a con for that. The next con, you can't stand it up. I'm so used to standing devices up on my desk, my tabletop. You just can't stand it up because of the little round end right there. And we have the little flat side right here. I'm not sure if it's there for grip or what it's for, but it doesn't come in contact with the tabletop. So when you set it down, it might roll off the table. So you got to be careful about that. You don't want this rolling on the floor and your dog getting at it or whatnot. So they should have made the bottom flat. I really think they should. So I will give it a con for that. The next con, the coil labeling. There's no indication on the coil head which coil it is, the 0.5 or the 0.2, which if you own a few of these in different options, you're not going to know which is which. So why didn't they label the coils? I have no idea. Thumbs down for that. And the last con, there should have been a puff counter in the Bluetooth app. For those out there who are quitting smoking and they want to know how many puffs a day they're taking, just adding a really simple puff counter to the app I think would have been a good idea. So that way someone can track their progress and how much they're vaping and whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it, guys, for the cons. Alright guys, so that's it. That's all I got for you today. If you guys have any comments or questions on the LAAN, please feel free to leave them below. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to everyone very, very soon. Make sure you guys build safe and vape on.